Well, the flags at Club Menangle tonight are flying at half-mast. There's a mark of respect in the passing this week of Graham McNeice. Graham, of course, responsible for launching so many careers. I certainly put my hand up with that. And so also the gentleman next to me, Fred Hastings. Fred, a very sad day as far as the media is concerned, but as far as racing is concerned, but just in general, he touched so many people.
There are so many people that basically owe their careers to Graham. Shadow, as he was affectionately known, was like a father to so many. And you mentioned the media element. It wasn't just racing. His reach across so many aspects of the media was incredible, including production of outstanding documentaries. Of course, he was a lead newsreader anchor for the sport on Channel 10 for many years, but his great legacy obviously would be the inception of pay TV and televised racing via the initial launch of Club Superstation and then through Sky Racing. He was, I guess, the godfather of Sky Racing, as he's been touted over the last few days since his sad passing.
He started out with his passion as a race caller and, of course, linked up with the great late Frank Kennedy.
Yeah, Graham called many greyhound meetings. Frank took Graham under his wing, and then in times to follow, Graham took other callers like Peter Johnson, and therefore, through that association, myself, and Graham was full of encouragement for me in the early days of my race calling career as a greyhound caller. And then I got to know him, obviously, once I started doing some meetings on Sky. And just a wonderful man with an amazing sense of humour. We probably couldn't tell some of the stories that we've come across through the years with Graham, but just an incredibly kind human being, and so many tributes this week have echoed exactly that.
One of the things, Freddie launched so many careers, and one of them, I hope I got this story right, one of them was Peter Overington, who used to work at Sky Channel doing totes. Kerry Packer once saw Peter Overington and said, "I want that fellow on Channel 9. The rest is history as far as Peter Overington's career is concerned.
Yeah, Peter Overton was one of the lead presenters in the early days of Sky, and Graham was pretty much the man that gave him a go. And your story, that as I understand it, is spot on. Kerry Packer was watching Sky. I think he had a direct feed in his penthouse, and basically rang Sky and said, "Who's this bloke? I want him at Channel 9 tomorrow." And pretty much that's how it played out. And now we see Peter Overton as the head newsreader on Channel 9 in Sydney every night.
I wonder whether he ever got that phone call right. I was there. Was it Peter or me?
I've got a funny feeling it might have been Peter. Mick, you've done well. You've endured over the years, but no, Peter's a great talent, and from I guess humble beginnings, because at that stage, while Sky Racing was, or Sky Channel as it was named back then, they essentially just broadcast into licensed venues and TABs. It wasn't really, until Graham and the team got behind having the pay TV platform in homes, at home on the track back in the late 90s. So, a lot of that comes down to the hard work and the diligence of Graham McNeice.
I got the first opportunity to work for Sky when Graham asked me to be next to Tappy on a Wednesday as John Tapp's offsider. And there was a phone call one Tuesday when I was at the Sportsman newspaper working, and Graham said, "I want you to do 3 interviews at Harold Park tonight, and I want to have a look at them. We want to start hosting from Harold Park on a Friday night." I did those 3 interviews with Brian Hancock, David Aiken and Chris Gleeson. On the Thursday morning, I got a phone call from Graham, said, "You've got the job, you start tomorrow." That was for a Friday night. And Graham was, from that point onwards, his influence over my career, he was always there to advise you, to help you, and always point you in the right direction. I certainly owe a great debt of gratitude to Graham McNeice for giving me an opportunity, an unknown, untested, and he certainly put me in the right direction.
Again, that's a sentiment echoed by so many that work in the media. And it wasn't just the on-air talent. He had an eye for those that worked, back of house in the production areas, and he was full of encouragement for so many people. And as I said, his love of I guess the theatre of racing evolved into creating some great documentaries over the years. Documentaries about racing. John Tapp, Theo Green, The Master's Apprentices was a terrific video that he put together. He was behind Crime Investigation Australia. Now, so many people I know that worked in and around the Sky Channel area, within Sky Channel, they made little cameos on his documentary. It might have been to cut costs, I don't know, but I'm still waiting for my call. I guess my rugged good looks weren't required.
Did you play a corpse?
It's probably more like it, but just a great talent, a great eye but most of all, he had passion. No, I mean, it didn't matter what he did, whether he was hosting. I worked in the early days where I was calling greyhounds at Richmond, and he was hosting. He'd often host and appear on those big, the big betting nights, Friday nights and Saturdays, and of course was on Retro of a Sunday, anchoring that. He had so much passion, and woe betide if you put a foot wrong, and especially someone in the infancy of their career as I was, if you did something wrong, he'd let you know, but he'd let you know in a way that you weren't rattled, and you accepted that, hey, you've got to get a kick up the pants every now and again, and and work on certain things, and that's how he treated me and so many others.
Yeah, as you said, it wasn't just the on-air talent, but producers, directors, panel operators. One of his favourites at Sky Channel, and it was very sad when he passed away, was Nick Robin.
Yeah, well, I think everyone at Sky at the time and in and around the radio station, because Nick also worked at 2KY before heading over to Sky Racing, but everyone felt Nick's passing, but I think none more than Shadow. He was really hit by it, and other people that we've lost since from Sky, the Sky family, like Chris Kearns. That affected Graham greatly, but he's just going to be a huge loss, and I hope in the fullness of time people are aware the legacy that he has left when they flick on their telly in the comfort of their own home watching the races. A lot of that all stemmed from the dream that Graham had all those years ago, nearly 40 years ago.
Yeah, and one of the gentlemen he got all his archives from was Brian Howard, to add to all of what Graham had. Now, Brian passed away and Graham's got the whole collection of all those archives. I just hope they go into good hands.
I'm sure they will. I think that would have been forefront of Graham's thought processes, because it's an incredible treasure trove of racing memorabilia, some of the old footage, Brian Howard telefilms, and and that reminds me, of course, he was behind that incredible documentary, The Ribbon of Light, showcasing the history of Harold Park through to its closure in 2010. So Graham had a passion for all codes of racing and pretty much all aspects of filmography.
Well, Fred, there's no doubt, as you've already alluded to, everyone that's walked through that door at Sky Channel, over there at French's Forest, has a debt of gratitude to owe. They owe their careers to the vision of Graham McNeice, for the opportunities Graham McNeice afforded so many of us. And on behalf of us all, Graham, we thank you. Vale Graham McNeice.